Welcome to Suburban Living. My name is Ed. This is part 2 of building the ladder for our bunk bed at the cabin. I have this old Craftsman router with just a simple rounding off bit in it. And I've worked on rounding this off. Now it's just slight, and it's probably a little bit hard to see on this camera, at least with this light that we have presently. I just want to round this edge off a little bit to make it easier on the feet when we're climbing up this ladder. I'm going to flip it over. Already done this side, and I've done the outside edge. I want to flip it over and do the other side, and then we're going to try to take a wood rasp to this somewhat, and then also a sander. Stay tuned. Okay, the ladder's coming together pretty nicely. I've got all the edges rounded here, here, below the step, and also on top of the step. Now I've got to take a sander to this, make it look a little better, also keep all splinters away. The top are going to be handholds to get up onto the bed easier. Let me remind you, let me walk outside the shop here, walk outside my garage, and I want to remind you where we got the material for this. This old pile of lumber. Still a lot of it here. I have intention to make sawhorses, perhaps an old carpenter style toolbox, maybe some other things. Give me some ideas on the comments below. We want to make as many useful things out of it as we can. You may need a short ladder, something like this, pretty easy to build. Check out that first video. We're going to take this to the cabin after we get it done. We're going to put it up, and we're going to see how functional it is. Okay, before we take this to the cabin, I'm not quite done sanding on it yet, but I wanted to show you it's coming around. And I know someone's going to say, well, why didn't you run that through the planer and the joiner before you started? Well, I don't have a planer or a joiner. I just have, I do have tools, but I don't have those presently. I think it's coming together pretty nicely. I think it's going to look good in the cabin. Okay, stay tuned. We'll see what this looks like at the cabin. Okay, welcome back to the cabin. We're going to finish our project today, the ladder that we built. I put a tarp over the upper mattress just to kind of keep the mice and stuff from messing it up too bad. A blanket there. You can see this is something very difficult to get up on. There's no handles, there's no ladder, and so what we've done in the past, I've used the ladder that I have here in our bathroom to climb upstairs. Kind of difficult to drag this ladder out and use it, but that's what we've done in the past. We've taken that ladder and we've brought it out here. Let me show you what we're going to do now. Okay, here is the completed ladder. I think it turned out pretty good after we sanded it, routed the edges. It's not perfect by any means. It still maintains that rustic look. I think it turns out pretty good for coming out of that old lumber pile. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to fasten this with bolts. I'm going to drill it and bolt it with carriage bolts, and I'll show you how that turns out here in just a minute. Okay, let me show you how this turned out. Put these carriage bolts in. They're just 1/4 inch carriage bolts, nice and strong. Made the ladder very solid. Also bolted the bottom section. Let me give you a little overview of this bed that we built. You may see a little secret of ours. We have storage underneath. That's just an easy way to put our blankets and things in these containers. We have mice that get up here in the cabin, and so we have these Ziploc containers underneath. I framed this up out of 2-inch stuff. There's the back bolts those carriage bolts. Underneath here, we built these with 2x8s. These were actually 2x8s left over from the joists that we used on the floor. Put those in, ripped out some 2-inch supports here, and then put 1-inch pine on top for the mattress to lay on. Same out here, 2x8, and then we wrapped it with 1-inch pine. That corner is just 1-inch pine corner that comes down to hold that top corner up, and then the bottom made out of 2-inch pine and then 1-inch. So it makes it nice and thick. And then we cut these boards and we just lay them in there. We lay them in and it gives us a nice hidden storage just to keep our blankets, pillows and things underneath there. Obviously we keep the mattresses out. We can't store the mattresses, but I put the tarp over the mattresses. So it works pretty well. Pretty happy with how the ladder turned out. Looks nice, it works, it's solid. The material for this ladder out of that old wood pile actually is the same oak that we used on this floor. When I bought the oak for this floor, I had several pieces left over, and these were in the pile, and so worked out very well for us. Thank you so much for watching this project. This may not be a perfect ladder by any means, but I think it's going to work well for this application. You may use the technique that we did to make a ladder, probably not a real long ladder, 8 feet, 10 feet maybe. Some ladder you may need in the house, you might be able to build it the way that we did. Let me point out something here real quickly. Notice we turn the boards this way. There's more strength in them this way. If we had the board turned this way, especially if the ladder had any lean to it, it would bow. 2x6, 2x4, whatever is much stronger on the edge, and the same is true here. These are turned up, and so there's more strength. Now, would a oak board across this way have been strong enough? Probably would have been, but I just like things to be nice and sturdy, nice and strong, because I don't want to have to do the job over again. Thank you so much for watching. You have a great day.